Another mock draft, guys. We're going live. 9 cats head-to-head, 12 team. I've got a friend as well. Steve St. Pierre, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing amazing, D-Mac. Thanks again for having me on. Should be another fun one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're doing a Yahoo mock draft. We're 3 minutes away from when the mock draft will go live. We'll get into it shortly. In the meantime, Steve, take us through what you're thinking. You're at pick 2. I'm at pick 12. Are you looking at a particular build from pick 2?
I'm not sure exactly on the build, but I am targeting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with my first pick here, second overall. I've been pretty open about this all off season. I'm a big Shai guy. I'm a big believer in getting guards early and often, and I think Shai is obviously the best. And I'm not real big on their the Oklahoma City Thunder's playoff schedule for what will be the kind of default playoff schedule in head-to-head leagues this year. I think they go 3-3-3 in games played per week, but I just think Shai's so good, so valuable, coming off an amazing season, entering his prime. Maybe he's not even in his prime yet. Maybe he's got another gear he can get up to. So sky's the limit. I love him, and I love starting a team and a build around him. So I think that's what I'm going to do, assuming he doesn't go number 1. If he does, I'm probably looking at Joker, probably looking at Nikola Jokic. Of course, you could always go Victor Wembanyama there as well. I think those are the big 3. I mean, you can't really go wrong. You can't really go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
The top
you can't
3.
go wrong. We're also going to use this as a live Q&A as well. So keep those questions coming. We've got one already. Just bear in mind, we start in 2 minutes. So we've got plenty of time for these questions. So first one from Kyle. Who would you draft at 3 and 11 in an ESPN points league? Okay, we're doing a cat today, but points league we also are aware of. Who do you think, Steve, at 3 in a points league situation?
I'm still sticking with those 3 guys that I just mentioned, even in a points league. But Giannis is in the mix there too, and so is Luka.
Yep, I think Giannis probably steps up to 3. I would still get behind Joker as 1. Of course, depending on when your playoffs start, you may need to adjust that. But I think Giannis is going to have an outstanding season. Luka, for that matter, as well. But I have Giannis just slightly above Luka at that point.
I'm worried about Giannis. Real quick, I just want to say I'm a little worried about Giannis for a couple of reasons. First of all, he tends to miss time anyways. He's another year older, and that Milwaukee team could go in a number of directions. They could either be competitive in a weaker Eastern Conference this year, or because they're so much weaker now, losing Dame Lillard and not really truly replacing him. I'm a little worried that maybe they get off to a slow start and maybe they decide to load manage / tank, and maybe Giannis takes additional time off, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Next question, who are the sleepers outside 150 picks? Yeah, we've got a lot. We'll go through quite a few. Make sure you go and check out my sleepers episode I did with Matty G. We've done it in 2 parts, so there's 40 guys there. But the hot sleepers at the moment, probably not so many sleepers right now. These are the late round flyers. The big guys, Mitchell Robinson, Kalkbrenner is now coming into consideration. We have, who else? Ijax, of course, your guy, Isaiah Jackson.
Yep. Yeah, like you said, I think we're going to be drafting a lot of these guys.
Yeah, Nemeas Cater is another one that's hot at the moment. So we are going into the draft room. So I'll set it up so it's nice presentation mode, so it helps for you guys and your viewing pleasure. So let's get that going. Oh, we don't want to auto draft. We do not want that. Settings. Okay. So we're, 2 minutes away from the actual start. So let's see the other questions. The other outside 150 guys, who do you have, Steve?
Outside of 150, man, you named a lot of them already.
I think Davion Mitchell is another guy that I'm looking at in terms of assists. Yeah, there's a lot of guys outside the 150.
I'll mention your guy, Mitch Rob.
Yeah. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson is another one. He
Yeah,
started
I'm
the
not
other
like
night.
I'm not as high on him as you are, I think, but I am. I obviously he has upside if he's healthy, especially in 9 cat, especially if you're looking for a traditional center who's going to help you in blocks, help you in field goal percentage. You can do a lot worse late in drafts than a guy like him,
And
especially
he
if he is
did
going to be starting.
yeah, and he did start the other night alongside a Cat. This is a
Sure did.
preseason game. He played a half and he looked outstanding, 18 rebounds in 18 minutes and looked
Yeah.
sharp. Of course, with Mitch Robinson, there's always going to be concerns around his health, missing some back-to-backs, I would expect, and also potentially changing up the lineup, getting Josh Hart back into that starting five as well is an option for the Knicks. But yeah, it's looking good for Mitch Robinson. So that's probably not outside at 150 now. It was probably a week ago. Now I've seen him go. It was in the 11th round of a 12-teamer. So that was around 112, 115, around that vicinity. Same round as Nemeas Keita. Same round as Isaiah Jackson. Jay Huff has sort of tapered off. So maybe that's a guy that you can look at. Outside of 150, I mentioned Davion Mitchell. There's a few others that's probably
Kevin Porter
not.
Jr. starting now for Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's probably moving up, to be honest. You're not going to get him outside the top 150. But yeah, make sure you check out our sleepers and flyers show as well. Any breakout players this season? Yeah, a lot. Check out our sleepers. But guys, who are your breakouts for this season, Steve? As we approach the start of the draft, we're 14 seconds, so we'll start thinking about our draft.
Hopefully, Cade Cunningham. Hopefully, Cade Cunningham will have a full-on breakout in 9-cat across the board.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We're in. So Jokic at 1. No surprise there. Steve, you're going to take SGA. So our assumption is Wemby will be third, but we'll see what happens. I've seen Giannis go third as well. Even though this is a category league, there's Victor Wembanyama at 3, Giannis at 4, ahead of Luka. My assumption is Luka will go at 5, but Giannis at 4. What do you think?
Not for me in 9-cat, but I get people who do it, and it can be done. You can have a nice build with Giannis at the top of your build. But like I said, I've got some concerns, but we know how good he is too. There's no arguing his talent. And he's had seasons, even in 9-cat, where he's been, top 20. So
yeah, you look at that -1 ranking as well. He just shoots up there. Humongous usage this season, but yeah, it's a tough one. You lean into a punt free throw build immediately. Luka went at 5. Ant went at 6. Anthony Davis went at 7. So I've seen Anthony Davis slip it pretty recently. Cade Cunningham at 8.
He's put on some weight, it looks like, and he's gotten a little bit of flack for that. So
yeah, you're still saying
we know the injury concerns. Yep.
So Cade at 8, Devin Booker at 9, James Harden at 10. 11 is on the clock, and then it's my pick. So again, Steph Curry at 11. Let's see. Karl Anthony Towns has dropped, but man, Trae Young is right there. I'm taking Trae Young.
Young's your guy. Yeah, you got to stay on brand.
Got to stay on brand. I could take your guy, Tyrese Maxey, or I may go for a little bit of. There's a few options here. I'm going to go Cat.
I was going to say go for that balance. That's probably what I would have done too.
Yeah. But there's a few options there. I would have taken one of the other guards if they'd been available, like Steph Curry. Maxey, I know you're high on. I was considering him, but we'll see what happens. A lot of mouths to feed at the 76ers if indeed everyone is healthy, which we don't know if that's the case. Embiid's probably going to miss the start of the season. Not confirmed yet, but probably going to miss. Paul George, not really sure where he's at either. Yep. Kevin Durant went at 2-2. Tyrese Maxey, as we just spoke about, went at 2-3. So that's a nice pairing with James Harden for Rick. Big Rick there. Now, coming back to your pick, which will be pick 23, do you have anyone in mind that if someone falls, that you're going to grab them?
Possibly Amin Thompson. We'll see. I need to get a big, so I don't know that Evan Mobley is going to be there. He might be somebody I would consider. Otherwise, I don't know. Derek White, I love him. Dyson Daniels could potentially be an option, maybe on the turn there, like third round, first pick of the third round. I'm probably gonna want to go with a guard and maybe a big. So
sure,
we'll see.
So after Maxey went Sabonis at 2.
Sabonis and Mobley both gone. So yeah,
Jalen Johnson. I love Jalen Johnson. There's always I guess concerns around his health, but his last injury is a bit of a freak injury. But he went at 2.5. I picked him up in the latest Locked On Fantasy Bowl. I picked him up in the second round as well. So I'm happy with that pick. Donovan Mitchell at 2.6. Evan Mobley. So he went at 2.7. Scotty Barnes at 2.8. Amen Thompson. So Amen Thompson, what are your thoughts on him? He's definitely going in the second round from what I have seen.
Yeah, I'm obviously high on him. I think we all are. Like I said, I was hoping he would kind of slide to me here. So I think since I'm up here, I couldn't even go with your guy, Josh Giddey. I think I'm going to stay on brand, though. I think it's kind of boring because I feel like I do the same thing every time. But I'm going to go Derek White and I'm going to go Miles Turner. And that way I've got plenty of balance, plenty of depth, and just, again, staying on brand here. So.
Yep, Derek White. Yeah, nice pick at pick 23 by you. J Dub went at pick 24. I'm just going back to Amen Thompson.
Yeah.
So pick 21 for Amen Thompson. That's probably around, if not a little bit, around where you need to get him, if not a little bit earlier from recent trends. Jalen Brunson, I think you can wait for the third round for Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. But of course, if you need those points, if you feel like it's going to dry up pretty quickly, Jalen Brunson's not an egregiously bad pick, but I would wait until probably the third round.
I like Chet Holmgren here. If it wasn't for the fact that I already have Shea, I think I would take Chet. But I don't really want to pair those two together. So I'm going to take Miles Turner.
Yep, Miles Turner.
I'm going higher on both of those guys, on Derek White and Miles Turner. I'm going higher than consensus, but again, I'm filling out my team, I'm filling out my roster, and I know I'm not picking again for a while. So a lot of these bigs are going to be long gone. So I knew I needed to get one of them. Miles Turner was my favorite of all these ones on the board right now. Chet, Bam Adebayo, Jaren Jackson Jr. I like JJJ, but the fact that he's starting the season not healthy, and kind of a question mark of when he'll actually return. I'm hoping maybe he slides a little bit. So I went with Turner. And then, I just like Derek White.
Well, just before your turn pick, Şengün went at 25. You had Miles Turner, of course. Jamal Murray. I've seen him go a little bit later, but I like Jamal Murray in this area. I think
he's moving up. Yeah. I think he's rising a little bit.
Pascal Siakam went next at 3-4. Then Paolo Banchero that's a clear punt free throw build. So I don't mind that at all. You've got Luka, Scotty Barnes, and Paolo Banchero. We've got some more questions, so keep them coming. We have a question here. We have Maxi or Giddy. I know what your thoughts are on that one.
Yeah.
Maxi,
I'll let you take. Why don't you take this one, D-Mac?
Yeah, I agree. I think Maxi for me, but I can see the appeal around Giddy. But I just think Maxi just provides that elite level. Giddy's not quite there, in my opinion, but I've seen Giddy go around that 15, 16, 17 mark, even in some industry mock drafts as well. So interesting. Now, just going back to our draft, and we'll get back to your questions very shortly. Paolo Banchero, I said, went to that really nice punt free throw build team. Chet Holmgren went at 3-6. LeBron James at 3-7. So that's later than what I've seen LeBron James go. So for him to go at pick 31, I think there's some value there, even in his 40th year of life. He's age 40, like myself. But I think that's some value there. LaMelo Ball, I have seen him go a little bit earlier than 32. He went 32 in this mock draft. But again, catering for the fact that there is a chance that he misses games. He doesn't have the best injury history as well. So on a per game basis, I like that one.
Yeah, for sure. We know the upsides there. We say it every year. And we got to get these guys, the point guards. There goes Giddy.
Giddy really slipped. Very, very much slipped. So Giddy went to pick 34. I'm on the clock. I got to stop talking. I did this last time. I should have learnt my lesson.
All the Aussies are going. There goes Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, and a guy that played in Australia last night, not an Aussie, but he played in Australia for the Pelicans, Trey Murphy, one of my guys. Yeah, I'm on the turn. I was thinking Fox, but he's injured at the moment. He's probably going to start the season a little bit later than most. Look, I'm going to go Franz Wagner, even though he's probably going to have a reduction. Do I go Franz? No, I'm going Jaren Jackson. I'll go for that upside again. He's starting the season.
Get that balance. Yep.
Yeah, get the balance. He's starting the season injured. I don't think he misses too much time. But JJJ at the first pick of the fourth round at pick 37, I think is value in a 9-cat scenario.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go through some more questions. Interesting one. This is deep sleeper. Is Moussa Diabate worth getting between 115 and 130? Many people have eyes on him. There's some talk that Ryan Kalkbrenner could actually start for the Hornets. You've also got Plumlee as well in the mix. I like Moussa Diabate's fantasy game. 115 seems early, but at 130, I think at that point of the draft, there's pretty low risk. So I'd be okay with it because there's still a chance that he does start. We'll get some word in the coming days. We'll have a look at some preseason games. But Kalkbrenner is another one to keep your eyes on there.
Yeah, I'm higher on Kalkbrenner for the upside, but we will find out here in the near future, who they're looking at to start. We'll get a sense of kind of who's going to play more. We might not know, and it might be a game by game thing. But if they come out, if there's any kind of like formal announcement that Kalkbrenner is going to be the guy, I think he's the one I would target in that range over Diabate. But if it's the other way around, then you can flip flop him for sure.
Yeah, and we're less than 3 weeks, just over 2 weeks until the start of the
Yeah,
season. So we've got a little bit of time to just really establish who the starting five will be for everyone's respective teams and what the rotations will look like as well. So a few unanswered questions at this stage. We'll get back to your questions very shortly, but just recapping, after my JJJ pick went Austin Reeves. Yep, fantastic pick there. Franz Wagner, I still like Wagner, but I think he'll have less to do with Desmond Bain, who just went off the board at Bain went at 43. So Franz Wagner, then Jaylen Brown went at 4-4. Ja Morant 4-5. I think Ja Morant's got a big season ahead of him. You're on the clock, by the way, Steve, so I'll keep talking, but I had an ADP battle with Matty G last night, and I did talk up Ja Morant. I think it was Ja Morant and Cooper Flagg, very different types of players, but around the same ADP. Ja Morant, I think without Desmond Bain, the aforementioned Desmond Bain, I think he's got a fair bit to do. JJJ's out to start the season as well. So Ja Morant's going to get off to a flying start, and hopefully he maintains that. Always concern around his health, but I think he's going to have a nice season if you can get him around this ADP. I wouldn't go much higher than this, though.
Yeah,
after Ja went Kawhi Leonard, and again, it's the maintenance days that will drive down his total value. His per-game value, great. Potential second round, maybe even first round upside. We've seen first round in the past. I don't think he's that guy anymore, but potential second round per game upside. But it's just the missed games, the maintenance, the worries. But it is his first healthy preseason in a very long time.
So far.
And who did you take? You took
Cooper Flagg.
Speaking of Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, and I'm going to have some more fun here. I'm going to homer out a little bit. I'm going to go with Jalen Duren.
Oh, Flagg and Duren. So nice young squad. Before you took Cooper Flagg, we'll just quickly go. So Bain went at 43, Fox at 44, even though he's starting the season injured. Hopefully it's not too long that he's sidelined.
I wanted Fox. I was hoping he'd fall.
Yeah, and I don't mind that at all. Ivica Zubac went at 45. Brandon Miller, okay. Yeah, exciting play at 46. I don't know if I'd go that high, but I can see the upside, particularly in a punt field goal situation.
For sure.
Cooper Flagg, your pick at 47. Denny Avdia, very popular pick. End of the fourth round. I'm comfortable with that. Jimmy Butler for that per game upside. Let's hope he doesn't miss too many games, but he went at 49. Your pick of Jalen Duren was at 50. Kobe White, I think, is a solid pick there at 51. Zion, a lot of hype around Zion. And again, he played last night in Australia in the preseason game. Looked great, looked good. It's the fittest he's looked in quite some time. And super, super excited to see what he can bring to the table this season.
Yeah, I'm not as high on him. I don't trust him, but it is very good to see him in shape, looking ready to go here. I believe contract season, so hopefully that'll motivate him a little bit to stay healthy, stay on the court. Obviously, anything can happen at any time, but again, tons of upside. If he falls far enough, I think you just roll the dice, you take them, and you just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I've got to start thinking about my pick as well. While I'm thinking about that, Steve, did you want to take over after Zion went Walker Kessler?
Yeah, Walker Kessler. I've always liked him. I like his upside. We had Kristaps Porzingis, a guy that I was looking at, but since this was a mock draft, I didn't want to go old and boring. I wanted to go young and kind of upsidey. All-Star Thompson of my Detroit Pistons. 55 is way too early to me. But he does have upside. So, I mean, it could work out. Nikola Vucevic, a guy that you and I have talked about, he went at 56. He's a guy that I like because if he's falling around this range, I think you just take him, hope for the best. We don't know what the situation is going to be here, if he's going to stay with Chicago or not. But he's been so good. I think you just keep rolling with them. Miles Bridges at 57. Again, solid. This is around the point where he'll go. Jared Allen, another guy who I was looking at, he went at 58. Very safe, very solid. Darius Garland, another guy that you and I both like. I think that's a good spot for him at 59. Joel Embiid at 60. I like it.
I took Embiid at 60. Yeah, it's the upside
play.
It's a bit of a
Why don't you take over?
I went
like
safe earlier on. So I've gone Embiid just for a little bit of upside play because I did go safe. Had I gone someone who was injured, I was even thinking about Tyler Hero earlier than that. But had I gone someone injured earlier, I would have stayed away from Embiid. But at 60, I think, look,
I like
there's
it.
a bit of risk there, but you just never know. Yeah. Then I took Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard, I think he's on everyone's radar. He's no longer flying under the radar. He's a starter for the Boston Celtics. Sure. We saw him even in that 6-man role. He was probably a top 70 or 80 type of guy in 9-cat last season. So sky's the limit for Peyton Pritchard this season. And I don't think Anthony Simons is going to really take his role ahead of him. Anthony Simons will be coming off the bench by all accounts. And I think that it bodes well for Peyton Pritchard's overall value.
Yeah, they might even trade Simons. We'll have to see.
Yeah, Zach LaVine went straight after Pritchard. Then straight after LaVine, we had OG Anunoby. I really like that. He's falling, maybe because of the new coach in town. He won't be playing 40 minutes a game. He may only be playing mid-30s. And I think that's still a fine for OG Anunoby in the 6th round. I think it's fantastic. Larry Markkinen, again, it's the risk around the Utah Jazz. You'll see it with the Brooklyn Nets as well. It's the games played situation. And when it comes to fantasy playoffs, do you want your 6th round guy sitting on the bench? For me, I don't know about that. So I'd rather much take a Embiid rather than a Larry Markkinen, but pick your poison, both risky plays.
For sure.
Julius Randle at 6'5". I think you need that points uptick. He's a fine pick there. Jakob Poeltl, another one of my guys. I really like him. And you look at his numbers last season. In limited games, played roughly 50 games, didn't play 30 minutes. I think he played 28 minutes a game. He was still a top 59K guy. So getting him in the 6th, I think, is value. And I think the Raptors play hard this season. Ingram's back. IQ is healthy. They're going to be a decent team. Possibly not a playoff team, but they're not necessarily a lottery pick team.
IQ still on the board here. I was looking at him.
Right. So after Jakob Poeltl, DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gobert went at 6'8". Josh Hart at 6'9". I think it's too early now that he is coming off the bench. Ayton at 6'10". I like Tyler Hero when he comes back, and it could be maybe a month, a little bit after, maybe 5 weeks.
That was my pick. I'm stashing him. Yep.
Yeah, you're stashing him. I like it. I like it as a stash. And we saw before the injury, he was going in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Very good. I think he's got top 25, top 30 per game upside there. So
especially
good pick there. Especially on that team. Paul George, again, similar to Joel Embiid, it's just that risk of games not being played. Brandon Ingram, we spoke about him. It would be great to see how he gels with the rest of the Raptors as well. There's 5 guys that should probably be drafted in the top 100, easily drafted in the top 100. And so we'll see how that plays out. Actually, the 5th guy, RJ Barrett. Yeah, scrap that. 4 guys in the top 100, maybe not RJ Barrett.
Exactly.
Mark Williams at 7'2". Yeah, again, a bit of a risk and a bit of a theme here. There's risk with everyone, but Mark Williams just has that upside. And if he can stay on the court for the Suns, top 50 per game is an easy get for Mark Williams.
Yep, he was my pick. And he's my 3rd center. I don't like that all 3 of my centers only have center eligibility. I'm rolling the dice there a little bit, but this is a 2-center league. And at the end of the day, you got to get your guys, got to have balance. And I love the shot blocking. I love the scoring upside. So happily taken.
I'm on the clock here. Michael Porter Jr., I grabbed in the Locked On Fantasy Bowl because it's a games cap situation. In a typical head-to-head, I don't think I want anything to do with Nets or the 2 guys from the Jazz. So I'm going to grab Cam Johnson because I think now that he's on the Denver Nuggets, he's going to be playing hard. He played really well last season for the Nets. Oh, that's right. I'm on the turn.
Cam Johnson's a great pick. I was looking at him as well.
Yeah, I think he will reach that in terms of his value.
It's a great fit in Denver.
Thomas. Yeah, look, I'm going to go boring. This is very boring. So smash me in the comments, but I've gone John Collins. Smash me, and that's okay. Speaking of comments,
Tyronn Lue forgot about him, allegedly.
Yeah, well, we forgot whether or not he's going to start. But we did hear from Tyronn Lue that Bradley Beal will start. Another guy that should be considered in around this area, probably a little bit later.
Yep.
But let's get to some more questions. This is what we had earlier. Never got around to it, but Sensabaugh or Herder as a late round pick. I've gone Sensabaugh.
Yeah, to me, it's a no-brainer. Herder's way too inconsistent, and that team is just such a weird kind of mess right now. Sensabaugh, obviously, Utah has a lot of options, both in the front court and on the perimeter. But Sensabaugh has looked really good. He looked good down the stretch for them. He looked really good in summer league, the couple games that he played. He can shoot the heck out of the ball. Awesome three-point shooter. Lots of upside in scoring. I think he could have a big role for them this year.
Yeah. Ford just says, "Hey lads, g'day mate. Good to have you on." Matt Carmody, of course, big supporter of a lot of us in Fantasy Hoops. Hey guys, who do you prefer between Denny or Butler?
Ooh, Denny. What do you think? Have some fun. Go young. Go upside.
I think Denny for sure. I think Butler, we know that per game.
Butler's going to get load managed. Golden State has a million guys. They signed half their team this week. Man, go young, go upside, have some fun.
I think it helps Denny that Scoot Henderson will be missing the start of the season. So I think Denny's got a fair bit to do on that Portland Trail Blazers team.
Yes, he does. Man, I'm on.
Another question here. Mark Williams or DeAndre Ayton? That comes down to whether or not you're feeling frisky and a little bit risky around your pick.
Good
Speaking of pick, Steve, you're on it.
I don't know what to do.
Per game, Mark Williams. If it's a games cap or it's roto situation, it's Mark Williams. In a typical head-to-head, it's probably still Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Look, I like the stability of Ayton. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go Ayton in a typical head-to-head, but Mark Williams for upside if you have had pretty safe picks up until that point.
Speaking of
and who did you take? Steve, you took Tari Eason.
I took Tari Eason, and just now at 98, I took Drew Holiday. I think the news that Scoot Henderson is going to be out, Drew Holiday, I think, is pretty safe to start at that point guard spot in Portland. And, I think good safe pick here.
Yeah. Sean, thanks, mate. Good stream, boys. Thanks for coming on. Keep those questions coming, guys. All right. We'll go through some of the picks as well. So, after my Cam Johnson, Jordan Poole at 7. This is before my pick. We'll go from your pick at Mark Williams, Christian Brown at 7.3. I think it's solid, but again, the efficiency could come down. Andrew Nembhard without Halliburton this season at 7.4. I probably would have waited a little bit, but I can see the appeal, particularly if you need assists, and he's going to be steady without being spectacular.
Yeah, his name's kind of moving up a little bit. I don't think you're going to be able to wait too much longer. So it might have been a situation where they thought, he wouldn't come back around. I mean, they might be right because they weren't picking again until pick 93. So
yeah, Steve, can you take it from there? So Donovan Clingan is next because I've got a pick coming up. So I got to.
Yeah, no worries. Donovan Clingan went at 77. Isaiah Hartenstein went at 78. Both of those guys right around the spot where they're going to go. Again, we're getting into the kind of deeper flyerish kind of centers, but you got to take them. Modest Buzelis at 79. He's another, kind of hot name right now. A guy who you're probably, if you want him, you're going to have to take him around this range. Alex Czar, same thing. Young, big with upside. Quickly finally goes at pick 81. So I like that potential value there. You talked all about it with Toronto. They're young. They're seemingly healthy. It looks like they're ready to kind of capitalize here again in a weaker Eastern Conference. Onyeka Okongwu goes at 82, and that's a good pick right there. He's another one with upside. Could be some potential value there. Jordan Poole, again, with the Pelicans, they're young. They're presumably healthy here. Poole seems pretty excited to be with that mix of guys, and maybe he could have a nice bounce back year. He's not my favorite player, especially in 9-cap, but at 83, it's certainly not a bad pick. We mentioned your picks, Cam Johnson and John Collins. Solid. Cam Johnson, I actually was eyeing him, so I think that's potentially really good value. John Collins, like you said, kind of boring, but very safe. Santi Aldama, a guy who's going to have huge value to begin the season because, again, talked about those injuries in Memphis. And if you don't mind, D-Mac, I'm going to have you take over from there because now I'm about to be up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had Sansi Aldama at pick 86, 87, Jalen Green. I think I saw the other day hamstring concerns at this stage. So hopefully he's back in time for opening night. But yeah, a lot of points. Let's see how he works alongside of Devin Booker as well. Interesting there. Michael Porter Jr. at 8-4. Again, it's around the games played. He's going to smash that in terms of average. His ADP is probably around this point, but I think he does really well. I think he's a top 50 guy per game. It's just around the games played again. So we have to be mindful of that. Benedict Matherin's going to have massive usage on that Pacers team. I think 8-5 is fine. I think that's fine there. Kelly Ware, there's some concerns around him, and look at Jovic could potentially be starting ahead of Ware. There's some talk that Spo isn't liking the work ethic of Kelly Ware, and I'm not sure the ins and outs, obviously, of the Miami Heat, but there's a chance that he comes off the bench behind Jovic. So for me, he's probably dropping a little bit, and I've seen that trend. He went, I think it was outside the top 100 in the Locked On Fantasy Bowl draft that I'm currently in. It's a slow draft, but Kelly Ware is dropping just because of that news around Jovic potentially starting ahead of him. So let's watch this space. Perhaps the preseason games gives us a little bit more clarity. Norman Powell went at the 7th pick of the 8th round, so 8-7 for Norman Powell. A fair bit to do without Tyler Hero to start the season for the first at least month of the season. Mikal Bridges is safe at 8-8. Not a great deal of upside there, but it's safe. And I think safety is okay. You don't have to get upside and shoot for the stars every single round. Jalen Suggs, they say he's healthy and will look to play opening night. I still have concerns around his health. Plus, is he the 5th option on that team? At least the 4th option on that team.
Yep.
Now that they've got Desmond Bane there.
For sure.
Jalen Suggs at 8-9. What are your thoughts on that? Is that too early or is that about right?
No, it's about where he's going to go. But again, like you said, questions about his role, his health. But yeah, he's solid, especially if you're looking for guard depth.
Yeah, and straight after Suggs was Keegan Murray. I like that. He's dropping. I have seen him. I got him probably in the 10th round of my draft. So end of the 8th is still okay. Tari Eason, I like that pick. I think Tari Eason is sneaky going to have a fantastic season. Is that maybe
I think so too? Yeah, he's a favorite of mine. That was my pick, and I've always been high on Tari Eason, and with some of the injuries there in Houston to begin the season. Of course, he's one of them. They're saying that they're going to be kind of easy on him, limit him, probably no back-to-backs, at least at the start. But I don't care. I like the upside. I love his game, especially in 9-cat.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, on the clock, I have not looked at this. So let's go. What do I need? I'm going to go, again, a boring pick here. But I like the outlook for Aaron Neesmith late here.
He's fine.
Probably low.
This is total flyer zone at this point. We're at pick 132. So
yeah. And have our guys been taken?
Which one?
Yeah, Isaiah Jackson.
Oh yeah, I took him.
Oh, you took. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
We'll catch everybody up.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to go boring. Partly because I think it's safe at this point for Malik Monk, but also because I'm just not prepared. I'm not focused. So lesson to you guys, stay focused. Good. Don't do a podcast. Don't do a show while you're drafting. So keep that one in mind. But yeah, I think Malik Monk will probably come off the bench for the Kings behind Dennis Schroeder. But I think he'll be fine. I think he still plays 28 minutes a game. And at this point, I think it's good value. He's relatively efficient. Decent free throws, good threes, good points, okay assists as well. So I'm getting it at this point is fine by me.
Yep. Man, this thing's flying. We're almost done.
Yeah. Where do we get to in terms of the recap?
We left off on my pick, Tari Eason.
Yeah, let's fly through. So Tari Eason, then Anthony Simons. Spoke about Anthony Simons coming off the bench. He went at the end of the 8th round. Then we went Bradley Beal. That's about right. Drew Holiday is another popular guy that's risen since the injury to Scoot. Cam Thomas, again, the issues with the Nets. He went at 9-3. RJ Barrett for a points pick, or that could have been possibly an auto. But RJ Barrett, I wouldn't touch him at this point. But I guess if you need those
not
points,
in 9-cat.
Not the worst. Not in 9-cat. In a points league, absolutely. Points league, for sure. Shaden Sharp could have that breakout. We've got a few autos now, so it's disappointing we've got a few autos, but that's at the end of the draft, so not as concerning. Shaden Sharp at 9.5. Thoughts on Shaden this season?
I'm not as high on him, but I think with some of the early injuries in Portland, he's got some upside if he's healthy and good to go. So I don't mind anybody who wants to take him, especially this part of the draft. You just take a flyer on him. If it doesn't work out, he's an easy cut.
Yep. Devin Vassell went straight after him. Tamari Kamara, love that pick at 9.7. Fantastic pick there. Andrew Wiggins, again, another solid pick. He's have a fair bit to do without Tyler Hero on the Heat. That's if he stays with the Heat longer term, but I still think it's a very solid pick. D'Lo is going to have a great start to the season without Kyrie there. It may taper off towards the back end, but yeah, great pick there. Nuz Reid went after that. Tobias Harris, that was a snipe because I wanted to go another boring guy, Tobias Harris.
I was looking at him too.
Yeah, 9-11. I've gone Kevin Porter Jr. just for some more assists. I think he'll start for the Bucks. I think he starts ahead of Cole Anthony. Ryan Rollins as well is in the conversation. So I would expect KPJ to start for the Bucks there. Then I've gone Reed Shepherd. So he'll start. And I'm excited by him. Absolutely. High draft pick a couple seasons ago in real life. And he has shown flashes when he's had the ability to play big minutes and start.
Sure.
Huge. Oh, and I've got the final pick. I'm going to stop the talking. I'm going to go Jay Huff just because the games where Ajax, on brand, and the games that Ajax doesn't play, which will be a few for maintenance, I think Jay Huff will step in nicely and perform really well. Quickly going through the rest of them. So Reed Shepherd, Zach Edey, again, injured to start the season, but that's a nice stash. Depending on your league settings, your IR slots, I think league, if you can, Zach Edey in the 10th is good value. I think he beats that comfortably in terms of the per game. Let's hope he's not sidelined for too long. I don't think it's a long-term injury. By all accounts, it's not, but these things may take a little bit of time to ramp up from. Dante DiVincenzo, another guy that I think steps up. I think Mike Conley's deprioritized with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Dante DiVincenzo. Could he have a season like he did a couple of seasons ago with the Knicks, where he was a top 60, 70 type of 9-cat guy? I think it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick Claxton, he's fallen. Yeah, really disappointing last season. Of course, the Nets were in tank mode, so no great incentive for him to play hard, but he just looked disinterested. And by all accounts, he's had a pretty good off season. So I hope that the interest is still there, but of course, the Nets are still going to be tanking. So be mindful of that. But getting him in the 10th round for a guy that was being picked probably in the 50s a couple of seasons ago.
Exactly. No brainer at this spot. Yep. Especially if you need another big, and worst case scenario, you're not losing too much if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I don't think he's an overly old guy. What is he, mid-20s, maybe 26 years
old?
Yeah,
no, he's not old at all. So, yeah, huge bounce back potential here.
Yeah. Speaking of bounce back, Jaden Ivey went straight after him.
Yes, sir.
It will be interesting to see how he gels alongside of Cade, of course, and the rest of the team. Asar Thompson, of course, we think the sky's the limit for Asar Thompson. Where was Asar Thompson taken, by the way?
He was very early. I don't remember him scrolling to try to find him. He was at pick 55. So that's 55. Way too early to me. Way too early. There's no value at that point if you're taking him there. But the upside's there. So I don't completely hate it. So
yeah.
It's a mock draft too. Have some fun. Take some chances.
Had some fun. I think he's going to have a breakout season this season, but 55 does take out a lot of that value. But yeah, it just shows you how high a lot of people are on Asar Thompson. As we were a bit of a template with Amen last season, I was very high coming into the season, and that turned out to be pretty good. And yeah, the sky's the limit for him moving forward.
Yep.
Jaden Ivey, then Derek Lively, likely to be missing for the start of the season. But again, he's a starting center when he is free of injury, so I don't mind that in the 10th round. Herb Jones, love that in the 10th round. I think he has a fantastic season. Didn't play in the exhibition or the preseason game last night. Minor niggle, so I think he's fine coming into the season. Aaron Gordon, starting guy. I think it's solid. It's a solid pick, and like I said before, it's fine to take solid picks. You don't have to get these high upside guys every single time because you know what you're going to get with Aaron Gordon. CJ McCollum, I like it to start the season. I picked him up in a league as well. I drafted him, I think, in the 11th round of a league. Good start to the season. Let's hope the Wizards remain somewhat competitive so that they're not in full tank mode and lean towards full youth. If they do, then CJ McCollum may not play a great deal towards the back end of the season.
Yeah.
But what do you think of CJ around that point?
I agree with you. I think he's got a lot of upside, especially at that point. Just take him and, hope for at minimum, good short-term value. And then again, if things are working, if they're winning games and stuff, they'll keep him in there as long as he's healthy. If it's not really working out in terms of the standings, maybe he's a guy that gets moved, benched, sat, load managed, tanked, whatever you want to call it.
All of the above.
But take the upside and let's see what happens.
Yep, Draymond Green went after him. Does Al Horford coming into the Golden State Warriors, does that impact Draymond Green too much, or it's not too bad?
Who knows? I think it with that team, it depends on who they're playing each and every night.
Yep. So, your pick next. I love this one, Isaiah Jackson, and that actually brings us to a question we had here from you guys. Okay, Frizzo has Miles Turner, Denny, TJ McConnell, Neemias, I think is Neemias or Nema, and Isaiah Jackson are his sleepers. Yep, I would agree with.
No question there, but a very good statement that I wholeheartedly agree with.
Yeah. Let's have a look at any more. Where would you take Jay Huff? Well, I took him in the very last round. I think he probably goes a little bit earlier just because people realize Isaiah Jackson, yes, he's looking like he's the starter. However, he will miss games through just general ramp up and maintenance as well, coming off an Achilles tear.
He will. I'm not as high on Huff, though, because I also think that Indiana's going to go small. I think they're going to play guys like Toppin. They'll play Pascal Siakam a lot at the 5-2. I think they'll go small ball, up tempo, more perimeter oriented, but we'll see. I mean, we know Huff has upside. We know he had that stretch in Memphis last year. So I don't mind anybody who drafts him, late.
Yep. Let's finish this off. Wendell Carter Jr., likely starting center for the Orlando Magic. So again, one of those steady picks, no upside, but steady picks there. Followed by Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He will have a fair bit to do at the Atlanta Hawks, but again, he's coming off the bench. So I don't mind. I probably would have waited, though, probably as the last round guy rather than 11th.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Kyrie Irving, just stash it and let's hope that he does come back sooner rather than later because you're going to get at least a top 50 guy even coming back and ramping up slowly. That's at least a top 50 guy.
Yeah, that was my pick.
Oh, perfect. It makes sense. It makes sense. Dennis Schroeder will start for the Kings.
Presumably.
Is my belief. Presumably. We'll see how that plays out. Yeah. I did grab Monk in the following round, but Dennis Schroeder is the incumbent there. Jaden McDaniels, I love that pick. I think he smashes that. Really, really.
Shout out to Scott Keller. He talked about him with Dan Bespers this week, and I agree. And especially if you're getting him around 124, where he went in this draft, that's good value.
Yeah, 125.
Very safe.
TJ McConnell. We saw it with Halliburton when he was injured last season. It was McConnell and Nembhard, but it was McConnell that was really shining at times.
Yeah,
Nembhard will start as the point guard for the Pacers this season, but TJ McConnell as that sixth man type of guy, I think that's valuable. And when you're trying to get assists, which statistical scarcity, assists late in drafts is quite difficult to get. I don't mind that at all. TJ McConnell there at 125.
Nope.
Following that, Keontae George, again, presumably starting, I would say, for the Utah Jazz. I don't think the tank season for the Jazz is really going to impact him as much as it will Walker Kessler and Larry Markin, of course. But Keontae, Collier, Sensabaugh, Filipowski, who I don't know if was he taken a little bit later? Maybe he was taken in the last round. But yeah, these are the types of guys that will thrive come later season. Let's wrap this up before the draft room's closed.
Yep.
Davion Mitchell, I really like start of season. He'll retain a little bit of back end value once Tyler Hero returns. But I really love that for the first few weeks of the season. Bobby Portis, again, safe pick. Not a great deal of depth behind Miles Turner and even Yana, so he can play the 4 and the 5. Jalen Wells, no great upside there, but no Desmond Bain, so perhaps there's more for Jalen Wells this season. Zachary Rissa-Shea probably will start for the Hawks. But again, we'll see how that plays out. A lot of mouths to feed, so the usage isn't quite high enough for me to pick him in the 11th. As a last round guy, I'm fine with it. But again, 11 through 13, or if you go deeper than that, these guys all have sort of that flyer type of feel. So take your shots, pick your guys, and we have no issue with it. Brandon Pajemski at the end of the 11th. Love that one. Really, really love that one. So grabbed him just before my pick of Aaron Naismith And then I backed it up with Malik Monk. You want to take us through that one while I have a sip of my coffee?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Neesmith, I really liked, very safe. Malik Monk, I'm not as high on him, but I mean, if you're looking for late round scoring and threes upside, he's solid. He's a guy that could get traded, and depending on if that happens and where he goes, that could increase his value. So, and again, just a guy, take him. Let's see what happens. Jabari Smith Jr. with the next pick. Again, pretty solid, pretty safe. Houston with those injuries and stuff. Smith should start, have a pretty concrete role there in the rotation. Yves Missi, I'm not real high on him, but again, if you need a big man late, you can take him, see how it goes. Lonzo Ball, solid, probably could start or at least have a pretty solid role off the bench in Cleveland with Darius Garland being injured to begin the year. Cam Whitmore, one of your guys. Again, Washington's a total crapshoot, so he's a perfect guy to take late. Daniel Gafford, we found out he's injured right now, so that's kind of a stash, but that's fine. Again, if you're looking for a sneaky late round big guy that you can put on your IL for a little bit, he's an option there. Quentin Grimes, who is officially back now with the Philadelphia 76ers and could start for them. We'll see. We know how good he was at the end of the year last year when they shut everybody down. Can he do that again? We'll have to see. Klay Thompson, old, boring, but potentially safe pick, especially if you're looking for threes and for scoring.
Yeah, we've got less than a minute, so we'll run through.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, so Sohan after him. Kaminga signed with the Warriors, but I think, again, late round flyer, so this is fine. Ace Bailey, one of your guys, taking 11th pick of the 12th round. So makes sense. Of course it is, Steve. Of course it is. Cason Wallace, Stephon Castle, Igor Demin, or Yemin.
Also my guy. Also my pick.
Your guy, I like that. Chris Paul,
talked about him a ton.
Kyle Kuzma, Keyshawn George, I like. Ty Jerome is a nice one. Keita in the 13th round. Love that one. That's probably the pick of the bunch.
He's grown on me big time.
13-10, Al Horford, and then I picked Jay Huff with the very last pick of the draft.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much. Steve, what's going on with you, mate?
Just a lot of this stuff, man. A lot of drafting. Very excited to have preseason and training camp, and there it goes. There goes our draft. But yeah, man, very excited. This is my favorite time of the year. A lot of just fun, real life sports stuff going on. I'm in the Detroit area, so my Tigers are alive and well in the playoffs for baseball. My Detroit Lions are taking care of business so far in football, so that's cool. I'm rocking the Pistons hat tonight. Excited about them, obviously. And yeah, man, as far as my show, Menace Podman, off season's over. So now we're getting into kind of our regularly scheduled programming of just jumping on and giving updates every week as to, who's injured, who's healthy, who's producing, who's playing. Right now, it's all about, like we've been talking about, who's in the starting lineup. What are the rotations looking like? Any surprise players emerging? This is all stuff that we'll be talking about here these next few weeks.
Yeah, no, nice one. So we can find Steve at podcast_Pierre as well. That's on X, Blue Sky, and where else can we find you, Steve?
Well, we're audio only, so anywhere you get audio podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, stuff like that.
Yep. Another couple of questions before we wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Jovic or Davion Mitchell? So a couple of Heat guys as a late round flyer. Who's your preferred option there?
Mitchell pretty easily because of how safe he's going to be in the short term, like you said, with Hero being out. They like Mitchell. They liked what he had to say in training camp. They liked what he did down the stretch last season. So
correct.
That would be the pick.
I agree. Completely agree. Matt again. G'day, mate. I like Boner as a late round pick. So do I, especially if you've drafted MP. So yeah, fantastic handcuff.
Matt's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. Next one, Fade, Embiid, and LaMelo. Yeah. Absolutely. Just be mindful.
I think it depends.
Late. It depends.
Yeah. If they fall far enough, I think you can do it. And again, like you said, it depends on what kind of league you're in. If you've got IL spots, if you got a little bit of room, a little bit of flexibility, I think you can take either of them, depending on, again, where they go.
Yep. And last one, Matt, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Just a quick one. before we head off as well, just make sure that you give us a follow. Find me at NBA Fantasy Bible. But of course, this is part of the Believe in Fantasy Basketball Network. So to become an MVP community member of the Believe community, go to www.believeinfantasy.com. So you'll get priority DM and email responses, exclusive MVP Discord access with our experts, including myself and Matty G. So believeinfantasy.com. So a lot going on over there with Robin and the crew. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Let us know what you think. Do you want any more streams like this? Do you want 14 teamers? Do you want more auctions? Let us know. But thanks, guys. Until next time. Thanks, Steve. Catch you, mate.
See you guys.
Nice one.
A good one. Classic.